Welcome to another Quickshotz vlog. And there's Monty, and there he goes. Right, you coming back up? Yes. Right, Monty welcomes you to... Okay, right, you stay there. Okay, right, there we go. Tip of the day. Don't start doing a vlog when you've hardly got any battery left. Right, now I just wanted to talk to you about books, landscape photography books, coffee table books in particular, not books of how to do this, how to do that, all that kind of stuff. More about inspiration for your photography, and if you look at books like this, how it can improve your photography over time. Now what I've got here is 5 of my favourite landscape photography books, all of them coffee table type books. Now there are lots of guys out there who are pushing out absolutely fantastic books all the time. Joe Cornish, Michael Kenner, people like that, but these are my 5 favourite. Now I haven't really been collecting photography books for very long, only about 3 or 4 years, but in those 3 or 4 years I've really noticed an improvement in my photography, at least from my point of view, and I put it down to a regular supply of these type of books, and me sitting down with a cup of coffee, studying the images and really trying to get to understand why those images work. Now 3 of these books are by the ex-publisher Triple Kite here in the UK, and it's really unfortunate that Triple Kite have stopped publishing books, at least for the time being, because the ones that they did produce were of excellent quality. But some of these are still available to buy. So anyway, first let's kick off. Now this first book is With Trees by Dav Thomas, who is a photographer based in Sheffield. He's not really taking many photos these days. He has a separate business. But I think he still has his camera and he still goes out occasionally. But this was the very first book that Triple Kite produced, and it really is a masterclass of woodland and tree photography through and through. So lots of very, very nice woodland images from somebody who you might consider as being a woodland master. Definitely worth trying to get a hold of if you're interested in woodland photography, and it is still available as well. So that's number 1. Number 2, now I'm going to rattle through these so it's not a very long vlog. Number 2 is Sea Works by Paul Kenny, and these unfortunately have now all sold out, but occasionally, every now and again, one will crop up on eBay, and or on Amazon Marketplace, and although it's normally quite expensive, it's worth getting hold of. Now Paul Kenny is a photographer based in the northeast. Although I say photography, I wouldn't say he really is, because he doesn't use a camera, he uses a scanner. Now what he does is he goes down to the local beach and places like that for his Sea Works project, and picks up all sorts of detritus on the beach, things that look interesting, and he compiles them into wonderful abstract images, scans them, and then processes them much like you would you know, anybody else in Photoshop or Lightroom or whatever. But what this is a absolute masterclass of abstract photography. Not to everybody's tastes, but beautiful all the same. And this collection of images, I think, spans something like 20 years. Well, no, actually 15 years, from 98 to 2013. And if you are in any way interested in abstract photography, now this is a very interesting book to get hold of, and really kind of you can learn quite a lot from how to compose images of your own abstracts by using some of the sort of examples, I guess, that you will find in this book as to what makes a compelling abstract image. So it's number 2. Now number 3 is the final triple kite one in my little collection here. And this one I think is still available. It's by William Neal, and it covers 40 years of his photography. Now, William Neal, or Bill Neal I think as he prefers to be called, was originally accepted into the Ansel Adams Gallery in Yosemite National Park by the great man Ansel Adams himself. So William learned from one of the very best out there, and this book basically charts a lot of his images from Yosemite, but it also goes further afield to places like Antarctica, and it covers all sorts of different types of landscape photography, from abstracts to big wide vista views, and stuff like that basically. So yeah, I mean, you're talking sort of, Antarctic type images like that, and some of the big stuff from Yosemite and the likes as well. But he covers woodland, he covers all sorts of things. But really is a special book, and one that you can tell is quite personal. So it's very much worth getting hold of this one. It's a fantastic edition from Bill. Now, number 4. Now, I'd say that of all the photographers that have influenced me over recent years, the likes of Colin Prior, Joe Cornish, and you'll see sort of some influence of their imagery in some of the images I take. One who really stands out amongst the crowd is Paul Wakefield. Now, Paul Wakefield is a commercial stroke advertising photographer. He's been in the business for, well, since the 80s, the early 80s or so, and has worked on many well-known advertising campaigns. But every now and again he'll delve into his real love, which is landscape photography. And he's one of the few guys out there, I think, who can probably not take a landscape photograph for a couple of years, come back and immediately hit a hole in one. Not even Tiger Woods can do that after 6 months off, but Paul can do it with a camera. So his photography book, his book The Landscape, is there are some amazing images here, and it really is an absolute masterclass of composition. And some of these images are beautiful. So yeah, he does the big wide views as well. He does abstracts and all sorts of things, but it's very much sort of color and tone, and things like that. So definitely worth studying, definitely worth looking into a little bit more. But Paul goes to some of the places that a lot of you will recognise, like Elgol and the Isle of Skye, but it goes, and Iceland. But you'll see images here from all over, and from those locations they're not necessarily the typical images that you will get. So if you go to Elgol, everybody wants to get the Coolin in the background, with some waves crashing over and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, sure, Paul will do that kind of stuff, but he will also come away with something completely different. But this book is just full of big images that really do get you thinking and get your creative juices flowing. I mean, look at that there. It's just beautiful stuff. Now, the final book that I want to just quickly cover is by somebody I mentioned a moment ago, Colin Prior. Now, Colin is perhaps the biggest single influence as to why I got into landscape photography in the first place. Back in the 90s, Colin was pushing out his big panorama images from Scotland. in calendars and postcards and all sorts of things, which made their way into outdoors retailers, and that's when I first came across Colin's work. Now, Colin has been active now for about 30 odd years. You notice the theme running here is these guys have been plying their trade for many years. But Colin, when it comes to big wide vistas of the Scottish mountains, was pretty much the first to see any real commercial success. But you know, if you've seen anything from Scotland, Colin's been there. He has done that. He has sat on top of a mountain for hours waiting for the light. He's camped up there 6 times over the course of 2 years, just as when the moon was supposed to rise in a specific place, just waiting for the absolute best conditions for the image that he pre-visualized that he wanted to get, and that is what is represented in this book. Now, Colin has several books out, but this one in particular, the collector's edition, Scotland's Finest Landscapes. This particular one pulls all of those images from those other books together, as well as adds to them, and I tell you, it is an absolute beast. I don't know how much it weighs, maybe about 10 kilos or something, but it comes in this nice presentation box, and is absolutely full of full double page spreads throughout of his work, which I think mainly is his film work, not his digital, but using his 7x16 Fuji film camera. Yeah, these images go back over the course of 3 decades, effectively. But if you are interested in Scottish landscapes, the finest mountain type landscapes, this is definitely the book to get. Now, there are others with excellent books coming out soon. In particular, I think Craig Aitchison has just brought out a book called Highlight or something like that. I'll correct that if I'm wrong. And Alex Nail is also bringing a book on Scottish landscapes out as well, and I think both of those will be worth checking out if any of that type of stuff interests you. But at the very least, you should also check out Colin Prior's collector's edition of Scottish Finest Landscapes. Brilliant. Okay, now I'm going to sit back, read a little bit of or look through my little book, not quite so. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to leave you with a little extra, which I was kind of recording during Storm Callum. It didn't quite work, but you can see it anyway. If you're not interested, turn off now. If you are, stick around and watch this little 2 minutes or so of me being a bit of an idiot, I guess.
Oh, don't fucking watch. This is insane! I'm in Aberdaron and Storm Callum has come in. There's a major storm surge. It's too intense to get the camera out, so I'm just going to do some iPhone photography. We'll see how this turns out. Here we go, there's my composition, and it's absolutely stunning, incredible. I'm just waiting for the waves to come in and create a nice line up on the beach over here. It happened a few minutes ago. Let's see if I can get another one. I'm really struggling to stand up. Unbelievable. I'm going to wait for this wave. I'll come back in a second. It's not quite working. I'm just waiting for this surge to come up the beach. Leave a nice line along here. Let me just wipe you off. I've got one a few moments to go. Whoops. Where's it gone? Just there, I don't know if you can see that. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Here we go. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. This is absolutely shit. I don't think it's going to make it into the portfolio, but it's great to be out in these conditions. Extreme photography.